Welcome to another podcast of Southern Dirt Motorsports. Today I have Gary Lawrence with me to help host this thing, and I have Michael and Mike Luna here with me. And we're going to get into a little something here that we hope that'll interest some people, maybe create some conversation with some people. As you know, we have a struggling economy, but racetracks are really struggling, be it paved track, be it dirt track, whatever. But it's really struggling. Michael here is an active racer now, and I'm going to ask him off the cuff here, so forgive him if he gets real off the cuff. But anyway, I'm just going to say, Michael, now you're an active racer. You see some things that's right, some things that's wrong. What do you see that we really need to do in racing? What some things that are wrong? What would, in your opinion, take to fix it? Now, being an active racer, you can speak with some authority on this. So if you would.
So the Southeast is where it's struggling the worst. If you go to the Midwest, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, they're fine. Down here we feel like we need to qualify every class, so we're dragging the fans there to sit and watch qualifying for 3 hours. If you go to all these promoter workshops, they'll teach you. You got the attention span of 3 hours to the average person. Now you get kids there, it's less, and we're dragging our intermissions along. And it just what happens is the diehard fans they're dying out. So you have to have a product that lets this younger generation watch.
You have to keep their attention.
Yeah. You shouldn't go to a racetrack that's got. If they got 50 cars, we shouldn't be there we shouldn't be there 5 hours at all.
It makes it up and late when you get home too.
It does, and nobody wants to do that. I mean, we went to Lincoln Park Speedway 2 weeks ago. They had over 100 cars. They started at 7. We were in the truck at 9:50. And down here, if they have 100 cars, you're going to start at 7 and be in the truck at 2 o'clock. And we've got to figure out, promoters do, how to speed that process up. And then we was talking about the money, like everything costs more. Track's insurances are definitely higher.
I know that track insurance is probably the biggest outlay that you're going to have here in a year.
And electricity, if they don't have a generator, electricity can be really expensive. We got to do better at getting people in and out. And as far as like on the racing side of things, we did that to ourselves as racers. We went in and these shocks, as far as late models go, these shocks we got to have a shock roll. We really need a cubic inch roll too when it comes to supers.
Tell Randall and Gary how much a set of shocks is. If you get the best.
Right now, Fox is the best of the best, and I've not priced it myself, but I have heard of numbers up to 11.5.
Is that per shot?
That's for a set.
So you need what?
Take a super late model to the racetrack and make them dead.
And you need what, 3 sets? You need about 2 or 3 sets?
No, now they got these things where they have so much adjustment on them.
You can adjust them.
You can adjust them, but used to 15 years ago, you would blow the tires off these cars if you had a big motor come, especially when the track started getting slick. And then it was really up to the driver at that point, to where now those days are over with. These shocks are so advanced, it would blow your mind how easy these cars are to drive compared to 10 years ago. Now you have to drive them harder. You have to get up on the wheel. You're making qualifying laps every lap now. To where used to you couldn't do that. You have to now, or you'll get loud. But they're easier to drive than they were 10 years ago or so. And it's all because of shocks. It's all because like Fox they call them quad. They have quad adjustments. So they got a high speed compression, low speed compression. You probably know from rock.
Yeah, we have that same situation.
But and then Brandon Shepard at Ponderosa Speedway a few weeks ago, he unloaded a 504 cubic inch motor. So that's got to stop. Like that, as far as the late model guys go, we're killing ourselves by doing that.
Well, what about tires too, Michael? I know no matter what shock, you gotta have something to hook up. Is the tires wide open once you get to use the compounds you get to use?
Most places are, like Hoosier has 2s and 4s. They have 3s too, but most tracks will just say 2s and 4s is the tire rule. And you got American Racer, which is 48s or 56s. So they've toned the options down. You know, used to there was from 3s all the way up to 55s, and then there was just numbers everywhere. But I mean, most guys are bolting new stuff on weekly. You can't stop that. That's not that big of a deal. Hoosier got bought out by Continental, and there's a bad run of tires that have been ever since they bought them out because they're not doing what they call cure and putting through heat cycles. So we as drivers are having to do that ourselves, like hot lap on them, put them up, and then run them the next week. That way we get some heat in them to cure them. If not, they get blisters on them. So if they don't do that, then you're going through tires weekly.
With that being said, think a little, if you had, and I know no one person has the ability to do this, it has to be sort of everyone involvement in it, everyone being willing to give and take. If you just had a free rein to fix this, what are a few of the things that you would look at doing? And some of them might work a little, some of them might not. But what are some of the things, sitting where you're at, being a driver yourself, what are some of the things you would do to try to fix this situation?
So my love's late models, that's my passion. And to fix it, they need a cubic inch roll pad. And they need a shock roll. They need to get off this quad adjusted shocks and go to double adjustables again like we were 10 years ago or so.
And what would the price on those be? Probably.
It would at least be half, yeah, it would be half. And well, the motor roll would probably be 2/3, I'd say. Because if you get, I mean, you've got World Outlaw sprint cars, they're called a 410 sprint because they have a 410 cubic inch max. And nobody's fussing about that. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine a sprint car with a 504 cubic inch motor? Somebody got smart enough to realize, hey, we're in trouble, let's do this. And now we got 410s, and Knoxville, Iowa was, the Knoxville Nationals last night, it was packed.
Paid $190,000.
Yeah, but the fans don't care so much, like you gotta have speed, but like, the fans don't care much about that. It's just like when me and Perry and Scott and Lewis had crossed 116, people's gonna come and they're gonna watch Mark Martin and Anthony White, and they'll watch them race wheelbarrows as long as the name is there. You know what I'm saying?
And they're competitive, as long as they're competitive. with it.
I think you're really right on that. I know we went through a phase of time, I got into some old enduro racing, some other guys, Red Farmer and some of those guys did. And you're right, it really didn't matter with the fans how fast you were going. It was the show that you put on that they liked. And that's the Crown Big class is really...
Whoever started that, which I think it might have been Mitch McCarter at 411, but that's what I was going to say. We were talking off camera about getting people back in because your average working man can't afford to run late models. Open wheels are probably borderline, and I like that class a lot because you can have too big of a motor, blow the tires off still, and then they got shock wheels. But for somebody coming up, because mini stocks are gone, the Crown Vic, whoever started that deal, I don't know that it'll save us, but it's going to help out a lot because it looks like there's going to be 15 to 20 Hills now.
It sounds like that. I know they had a event not long ago, and people were coming through there talking about the racetrack, and that was one of the. But you'd be surprised how many guys that already. I saw the picture of some of them that they brought through. They've already got them painted and got the numbers on them, ready to run up there in the Crown Vic.
There's 3 super late model drivers from my area raced at Crossville last night in the Crown Vics. Randy Weaver and Scott Randolph and Mike Hill.
It's as much fun for the driver. I know
That's what Randy Weaver told me.
Hey, we like going. The driving. We like going fast. All of us like that. That's why we do it. But we also like being out there just mixing it up with our buddies. I mean, that's being out there with your buddy and scrubbing a little with him and stuff. I mean, it's just a feeling that's out of this world. And like the crowd, they're interested in the show that you brought.
I don't know that anybody left last night. That's what I was going to say. I don't know that anybody left last night after the late model race.
And this was where
Crossville. Because they knew Weaver, Hill, they knew them guys were there. And, I mean, Weaver, they're going to watch him race a wheelbarrow if they know he's in the pits. So, but they stayed to watch. And so, one of my really good friends grew up watching Randy Weaver, and he runs Crown Vics. He's like, man, I can't wait to race against him tonight. You know, because so you get people like that too that's involved. But that class, Mitch McCarter done everybody a favor by bringing that class in.
What kind of rules do they run by? The motor size or tar size?
It's a Crown Vic cop. It's up north they call them cop stocks. Is what they call them.
What they do is they go to them auctions, you know, where they sell the old police cars, and they buy them. And most of them has already got heavier suspension and bigger engines.
A real police car
Yeah.
has got a better suspension.
Right.
I found that out in Euro racing.
Right.
That if you could get a real cop car, not one that a local that just repainted decal, but a real one, then it had a lot better suspension. It had a lot better everything in it. The engine was even more.
How many was there last night, Michael?
10 or 12. But that's going to help. That's going to help. I'm not going to say it's a lifesaver, but it's going to help. This is what we don't need, is the asphalt racing. We don't need the renter ride deal to start. If you ever see renter ride start, and we have a little bit of it, but it's not a lot. But the asphalt guys have killed the asphalt racing because talent. Let's be honest. On Sundays on the NASCAR race, that is not the best 40 in the nation, in the world. Used to it was.
They're the luckiest.
They've got a daddy who worked really hard to have a lot of money, or that it's. I hate it. They always talk about what they do to be better. They need Bubba Pollard, who probably don't have the money to ever do that. He's probably the most talented asphalt racer right now. They are, but they need talent sells tickets, and rivalry sells tickets, and these up and coming guys that race on Sundays. They won't even come out of the trailer if they get their helmet on, so definitely going to not have rivalries and stuff like that. It's the rental deal has killed. That is what's killed racing, because your fans come to watch talent or their favorites, whether it's at Crossville or Daytona. When I was a kid, you know, you had the Allisons and the Pettys, and that was racing. Yarborough, they were racing.
It don't matter who the fan is. He wants to see a show, and there's not a lot better show out there than a couple of guys that with equal talent, equal cars, running side by side, and maybe one of them gains a little this lap. You think he's going to make it, he don't make it. He gains a little, and you start sitting on the edge of your seat. You find yourself pulling from one or the other of them. And that's what brings fans. There's something to pull for, something to get excited about. And I gotta agree with Michael. A lot of that right now is gone, and it's got to be brought back.
If they run 10 laps side by side for 3 or 4 of them, 5 of them run side by side, bumper to bumper, they're putting on a show, no matter what speed they're running.
And that's why people will pay to come and do it. And like Michael has pointed out, they don't get a lot of interest in seeing cars qualified. That's a car out there by itself, racing the clock, and they're not feeling any of it. All they're doing is hearing the noise from it and seeing the result.
The best year Crossville Raceways had ever they dropped. No quality. Even the late models, and they dropped everything.
There's ways around that.
And sometimes it makes the racing a little better.
And what would Michael suggest?
So I grew up heat racing. Even Clinton County, you qualify on the pole and then go in the front straightaway and roll dice. and then that's where you start in the heat race, is whatever you roll. Or no, the driver's meet, I guess, but obviously I'm on an island by myself because everybody whines about running heat races. And so I think the happy spot there is, we already have transponders. We got to buy them every week that keeps up with our lap times. So let's go hot lap, and let's say the fastest car in hot laps starts fourth in this heat race, and then the eighth fastest car be on the pole of the first heat race. Something to make it to where the fans can watch a little bit of racing instead of, I mean, they holler, they get penalized for being fast, but without butts in the seats, we can't race. You know what I mean? There's a happy medium there somewhere that we can do to meet in the middle besides just, I don't care if it's a late model or a front wheel drive, like nobody wants to watch qualifying, but last night we sat through all 50 cars qualifying with one class running heat races. And I just think that it's too much. It burns people out. And then you go further south and you've got 7 classes of late models, and the fans have no clue what's what.
Well, that's why we do some of the things we do with this podcast that we've started doing. And if it creates a little controversy, that's fine too, because it usually is how you get things settled. There'll be a better argument win out. If a guy disagrees, that's fine. I want to hear his argument too. So, but we've got to start having some conversations or we're going to lose racing altogether. And there's nothing that we can't say or do. We're here to try to motivate, stimulate conversation about it, because none of us wants to lose racing. Everything we do and say at this podcast is to promote racing, remember racing, and try to make racing better. If somebody gets a little offended at a suggestion, that's fine. Give us a better one. And that's why we're doing this. And I'm appreciating you just giving us your raw feelings, Michael, about it. Being a racer yourself, sitting there on the other side of it. And it's obvious you care about the fans, or you wouldn't be thinking about this part of it. And that this is a sport where it absolutely, the fans and the drivers absolutely depend on each other. One is not going to exist without the other.
No, I mean, it's all I've ever did. I don't know nothing else. I tried to quit once and I was miserable. So, like, it's, but I also know, like, I don't want to be driving. If all our tracks shut down, I know that I'd go to Indiana and still race, or wherever I would have to go to race, because I love it that much. I wish all these promoters that are here that are left standing would make a trip up north, Midwest, and watch and learn how those guys do it. It doesn't affect your concession stands by doing that.
It's got to be affordable. It's got to be interesting. Without those two, you're not going to have it. One of those are not going to exist.
I tell you, BK was ahead of his time, because no matter what was going on in Baxter, when it come 10 p.m., he run the supers, because they was there from everywhere. You know, Alabama, Georgia, Knoxville, which is faster than us, you know. And it come 10 o'clock, no matter what class, what was going on, he lined the supers up to run their feature, and that was a great idea at the time.
I know we've all been around a little while, getting to the races and getting people back home from the races. That's important. They're just not going to stay there all night. And they're going to tell everybody that wasn't there, man, this was what took all night, we did this, we did that.
And they're not going back next week.
Right. It only takes 1 or 2 of those to kill a place. So I know a fluke can happen on occasion, but when it becomes a habit, you're not going to have that habit long, because your organization's going to go away.
I know back years ago, they got to staying, you know, later and later. And if you had a good pit man there over the pit, he would have lined up the next race. And when this bunch was coming off the track, this other bunch was going on the track. And that helped a lot.
Well, even like hot laps, like, I feel like I'm picking on Crossland. I love Crossland. I'm not picking on them, but I'm just.
We're not picking on anybody here. Michael, we're
like,
trying to help put a few resolutions to problems out there.
Last night you had 7 or 8 laps in hot laps, That takes time. Most places you go to, green, white checker, get off the track. Little stuff like that adds up at the end of the night.
Anything you can do to save the time, but now, like I said, I know they would be a good pit steer there, and he would line them up, and have the next heat ready to go out, and when that man was told to check her flag, they was running right behind him, ready to run the
There's
race.
some places you go, that bunch is coming off, and the next bunch is going on, getting one to go, and they're going green. And 4 or 5 minutes here and there make it.
Make a world difference at the
End of
end
the
of the night.
night.
I guess what we're saying is, everybody has to be on their toes, get it going and get it over and get them home. And I'll say this, Michael, I want to thank you for being very candid with us, very straight up with us about this. And I'll say this to any other of you drivers out there that's got ideas about this, that would like to come on this podcast and share your ideas with us, please contact us, please do so. Nobody's exempt from this. We want to do the best we can for both dirt track and even we want to see asphalt racing go too. So whatever ideas you've got, contact us, bring them to us. We'll put you on here, and who knows, maybe somebody out there will listen, because we want to save the sport. We want it to be the biggest thing going. So with that being said, Michael and Mike and Gary, thank yous all for being here. I'm Randall Davis. And it's been good being with you. Thank you for watching us. And I'll remind you again, if you've got a party, anniversary, a wedding, a birthday, anything that you want to remember and have a good time with party-wise, contact the Northfield Vineyard. You will be surprised at how little it costs you to have such a memorable event. These folks will treat you more right than your mama would treat you. So with that being said, thank you for watching. Subscribe to us. Let us know what you like and you don't like. The invitation is out there for any driver that wants to come and be on this podcast and share his views and his histories with us. Thank you so much for watching.